What is up, guys? North Digital Assets coming at you with another video. Thank you to everyone that has been watching. Thank you to subscribers. Thank you for clicking like. Thank you for the comments below. North Digital Assets covering 25 plus assets, including Casper, Curve, ADA, XRP, HBAR, VeChain, API 3, and CKB. We cover Bitcoin a lot because all the altcoins and the market all follows Bitcoin pretty damn closely. There's some outliers at times that make runs, but for the most part, they just follow the master Bitcoin, which is the leader of the market, obviously. Let's dive into Bitcoin. Let's talk about this expanded flat. Let's talk about what the market might be doing. So, number one, let's take a look here. You know what? First, we're going to dive into recent price action that we're seeing. We talked about in the last video that I put out, and let me give you guys a tip here that I forget to say all the time. If you want to watch this video and be much more efficient with your time, hit the settings button and click 1.5x playback speed, and you can watch this a lot faster and get the information a lot quicker. I can only talk so fast. But anyways, we talked about on the daily here. Let's go to the daily. We talked about in the last video, and it looks like it played out exactly the video that I put out a couple days ago when we were still down here. And it was very, very, very simple, very basic. Just this falling wedge pattern we were talking about. And when you break out of it, the target would be, I believe I was talking about the target was going to be about 32,000 here. And it's the top of where that wedge formed. And so it was a lot of sideways and down, and it was just getting real boring there for a minute. Nothing was happening, but when you do break out of there, typically that target is going to be the top. So we hit that perfectly from the video a couple days ago and came right up to that target, like I said. We are getting not only the 20 EMA on the daily to flatten out, we've got it to start pointing up a little bit. Will that continue? We'll have to wait and see. Is Bitcoin going to keep finding this 32,000 as resistance and roll down to 25,000 or 20,000? We're going to try to take a look at that in this video. That's always a possibility. It's always on the table. Personally, I'm holding and I'm acquiring. I'm acquiring at these levels. I'm acquiring at 25,000, and if somehow we see 20,000, I would be acquiring at those levels too. Let's turn on this VPVR here. Like I said, so let's drop a line in here, which is where we're at basically right now, and you can see that Bitcoin has the ability on the daily to cut through this rather easily because of there's less resistance here. These work as support and resistance. So for example, like this giant peak here, which is at this red line at 39,000, getting above it and hit it, sitting on 39.5 and bouncing around 39.5 and 40,000, then you have that momentum to start to go up. It's acting as support instead of as resistance. So we'll wait and see. But this line here that I just dropped in, which is about $32,000 right now, it is acting as a resistance. So if we can get above 32,000 and sit at 32.5 to 33 for a little bit of time, we can possibly start to get that momentum up to here. Now I will say this, almost everyone has gone bearish. They've been bearish for a while. The fear and greed index has been at 10 for a little while. Not many people think that this is the bottom. Bottoms never feel like bottoms until it starts to move back up. That's typical. Typically, when everyone is bearish, typically you're going to go in the opposite direction. But yeah, like I'm saying, just like in the past, these bottoms don't usually feel like it. They're least expected. Even people right now might think, well, this is another fake out rally and it's just going to go back to the downside again, which is possible. It is possible, but at some point when this thing does start to move again, I still believe we'll get wave 5, and we'll cover that on my main drawing here in a second. But getting above, like I said, before I zoomed out there, like I was just saying, getting above 32,000 and using it as support, 32.5, 32.6, 32.7, getting up towards 33, that's when it might have the ability to roll upwards. We're just going to have to wait a little bit longer, especially when you have the stock RSI on the daily up here towards 100. So it could kind of come down a little bit, and so there's some sideways action. But more important than that is when we go to the weekly, again, the weekly here, like I showed in the last video, there's two scenarios here that I see. Okay, we already have the momentum to the upside, which typically means weeks ahead you're going to get a pump to the weeks ahead. The other scenario is if it comes down and has to do this W pattern before going up, which could be like this. At any rate, sometime in the coming weeks we are going to have momentum back to the upside, if not now, sooner than later. When you're down here, you're more likely to go to the upside. Now, how high to the upside? That's a whole nother story, a whole nother question. If we look, let's see here. Let's erase remove drawings. But if we look to see, so right here, the blue is coming over the pink line. We're starting to get momentum to the upside. If we look and see at all the other ones here, like take example this one here, when you finally bottomed out, what was the run from candle body to candle bodies? 103%. Bitcoin doubled on that one. Let's take a look at this one here. You're down here around 0, right in this range here. This is a smaller pump, definitely, but 25%, pretty nice. Even a 25% coming up out of here would be beautiful. 25% would be better than nothing. We're going to talk about the expanded flat here in a second, just showing you a couple things here. But these are the waveforms, obviously the up and down waveforms. And typically, once you're down for a little bit of time, you're going to come back up. You're going to get some momentum back to the upside. You just don't know how much. This death cross on the weekly is a little bit ugly. Hopefully this flattens out here soon. Hopefully this is the start of more movement to the upside. We had it slightly here on wave 2, but it wasn't as aggressive as that. So there was a little bit of a death cross, and then it kind of flattened out, and then we went on that run. Again, though, if we look at some of these other runs, like here to here, that was here to here, you know, that's hundreds of percents. This momentum move up here from being at the bottom of the weekly stock RSI, just from candle bodies to candle bodies, 70–80%. So at any rate, all I'm saying is that either now or soon we're going to start doing it, because we got the blue coming over the pink and we'll start to move up, or you'll get another little W pattern and then start to move up in July or whatever. But at some point, yes, we'll start to get some movement back up. That's just the waves of the market. You can see the waves through here. There is nothing here where you're up here and you're just riding around up here for a while and everything's amazing, or where you're down here and you're just down here forever and everything sucks forever. No, I mean, we can go back all the way through the history. Here you're always getting these waveforms, and this is only back to 2017. We can go back much further, but these waveforms are always here in the momentum in the stock RSI. So we'll see what happens moving forward with that. Let's talk about this expanded flat here. So the expanded flat, in the expanded flats, wave B terminates beyond the start of wave A around 127%. That's the 1272. Wave C ends substantially beyond the end of wave A between 1272 and 1618. Okay, and this is what we have here, the blue, because we're coming up into this correction. Okay, and this is coming up into the correction here, if you follow the cursor up, and then A, B, C. Okay, 1272. Where this does make sense here is if I use the candle bodies and I use the Fibonacci retracement here on the weekly, and say we use these candle bodies, that's the 0 and that's the 1. So basically here we have the 1 up here, which is around 60,000 on the candle bodies. We have the 0 down here on these candle bodies. Let's zoom in on this. So using these candle bodies, it's pretty close. If you say here, you're coming up into this run here, and then you correct back down, here's the A. Now, where would the B take you? It'd be around the 1272, 127% of where you were topping here on the candle bodies, which it's somewhat close to the 1272 here. And then when you are heading down, where would the C end? If this is the expanded flat, and the expanded flat, again, is expanding as you're going down. Now, if we do that in reverse and we look at where would this end, okay, let's pull this down here. Let's set it here. And so the wick is down to the 1272 here, all the way down to the 1618 at 21,000 possibly. Okay, that's what it was talking about here. You have B around the 1272, and the C is around the 1272, all the way down to the 1618, somewhere in between there. And then it goes on to explain it here. This is what the expanded flat looks like. You can see in this example, price was going up. Then we decided to correct and we made wave A. Then wave B ended around 127%. Then wave C ended between 127 and 161%. And then price continued its move up. That's the key there. Then price continued its move up. Okay, so it goes in the direction that it came into it. So my point here is what we've been talking about for a while is you're coming up into this pattern. You roll down, you come, that's the A. You come up for B, which is around 127.2%. Then you're creating C, and if it's an expanded flat, it's either the 1272, or there's going to be another leg down, possibly towards this 1618, 21,000. The other confluence for that too is if we erase this, remove drawings, and we just go to the monthly, which I've talked about before, and that is the 55 EMA, and the 55 EMA is sitting at roughly 20,000 as well there. If we go to my main drawing here, on the monthly, you can see, like I said in the past, when you really start to roll and correct, you come down to the 55 EMA, bounce around, and then you make a run. Come down to the 55 EMA, bounce around, and make a run. Are we going to come down to the 55 EMA at 20,000? Possibly. I guess right here it's about at 25,000. But it can go a little bit lower than that. You can see that through here. So anyways, at any rate, I'm buying at these levels. I'm buying at 27. I'm buying at 25,000. I'm buying at 20,000. DCAing in all for a wave 5, which I still believe is coming. Let's go to the weekly. The DXY is also correcting. We've been watching. We've been paying attention to that. Let's clean this up a little bit. Again, is this, like I said, the fake out rally of the next wave? Capitulation, V-shaped recovery, you come out of it. Will this be the start of the V-shaped recovery, or is it going to roll lower? This line, I have both these lines set to, I think it's about 5 or 6 degrees. So if I click this line here, 5 degrees, click this line here, 5 degrees. It's based off of some of these lows here that we've hit. We have these wicks in here. We have this wick here. We have these here, these candle bodies. We have this wicks. We have the edges there, and 5 degrees, it would be fair game again, 25,000. So if we decided to roll more, this line is about 24,000, 25,000 on the expanded flat. If it was a like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that was the 3, 3, 5, A, B, C, that's 3, 3, and then here's the 5. That's still possible that we go down to 24, 25,000. That's, I think, what most people are thinking. So I guess we'll wait and see. At any rate, regardless, even if it does that, zoom out, look at my whole drawing. Do you think that means that crypto's done, or that Bitcoin's done, or whatever? No, those are amazing DCA points. If we get 25,000 or 20,000, I don't think that we'll get 20,000. I don't think we'll go that low. At any rate, if that were to happen, either the correction's over now soon, or it will be, but I still think we will get wave 5. Wave 4 is starting to get pretty long compared to, say, wave 2, the corrective wave 2. It's getting long in time, but the thing is that this wave 4, there is way more money in Bitcoin than when it was down here. This corrective wave was taking it from around 13,800 all the way down to 3,000, and it was, people were claiming that, you know, Bitcoin's dead, its run's over. So this was a much faster and deeper drop, but way smaller market cap than when we came all the way up to 64,000 and 69,000. Way smaller, way less money in it. Anyways, we're starting to see some volatility with Bitcoin lately, where we're actually bouncing around. There's actually some movement over 32,000 a number of times today, right to that wedge pattern that we were talking about in the last video, and it's dropping back down. It's actually got some movement up and down. That's why we're in Bitcoin and crypto, is for the volatility. I will continue to DCA based off my main drawing, and that we are going to make a run. Other fuel to the fire would be the DXY. If we can keep this correction going, there could definitely still be some weeks ahead of momentum to the downside, and you can see that here. If we go to the, let's go to the 4 hourly, I'll show you something interesting. This is what we want to happen to the daily, this exact look, because the 4 hourly, this is classic. you had this bearish cross on the 4 hourly, and usually these EMAs act as support and you stay above them, and it makes you rise. Well, once you get that cross and you start to fall below them, then they're resistance, and you just follow them down, hitting them as resistance. So if we can get this kind of pattern on the daily, that would be beautiful. That's what we want. We'll just have to wait and see. The dollar is it's very hard to predict what the Dixie's going to do here. Let's take a look here. So got a nice curvature down of the 20 EMA. Is this gonna hold support on the 55 EMA for the DXY and it's gonna start to move up, or will it start to roll? I don't know. We'll see. But I'm gonna continue to watch this. It's pretty flat here on the daily, so there might be a little bit of momentum to the upside, but that could also mean it could be low volatility and it could be somewhat sideways while this line comes up. We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, that's what we want. But anyways, this 20 EMA crossing the 55 EMA, and then it starts to hit it as resistance like I just showed on the 4 hourly. That's what we want to happen to the daily. We talked about it for a long time, the DXY correcting, and we're starting to see somewhat of a correction. Let's go to the weekly really quick here. Again, like I said, for a long while, it was floating in the sky. You're up here, the 20 EMA is down here, and the 55 is down here. You never came back as support, as support, as support. And you always will, and you always do, and these are always magnets, and we talked about that. You're heading towards the 20 EMA right now on the weekly, which sits at about 100.1. 100.1. By the time it gets there, this green line could come up a little higher. Anyways, just a hair over 100, and while we still sit at 101.7, I believe it will be coming down to this green line at least, and down to the 55 EMA and getting this thing to cool off and go sideways and kind of correct back down would be beautiful, or something like this, an A to the green line, B, C to the red line. That would be beautiful. We'll wait and see if that happens. Anyways, guys, not much else to say. I don't want this video to be too long. I just will say that overall I'm bullish definitely on crypto moving forward. I'm bullish on a wave 5. Yeah, wave 4 is starting to get pretty long, but I've shown this many times of why I think we're going to wave 5. The fact that people are starting to call me crazy, Incredible Crypto crazy, and some of these other people crazy, that's perfect. That's the sign to me of getting close to a bottom, and bottoms never feel like bottoms when they are, if Bitcoin just started to move up. But again, this could come up. If the bearish scenarios, if this starts to come up and then it has to roll back down to 0, then we'll get, I believe, momentum to the upside. But that could mean this package here where you're still technically in the expanded flat, because you can see when these lines are both at 5 degrees, when these white lines are both at 5 degrees, and you're coming down to bounce off that line one last time, would be, to me, the start where wave 5 would actually happen. It would just be even more waiting and even more BS, even more crypto not doing a whole lot. So really just a waiting game for me and a DCA game for me. That's my take. And these altcoins are on amazing cheap prices right now, and if Bitcoin goes down more, it'll still be an amazing cheap prices, but it's not going to invalidate this drawing unless you fall out of this expanded flat completely, and you actually do come into the teens and you're bouncing around 18,000, 19,000. That would be a different story, and if it stayed sideways for a while, I would have to reevaluate this, but we'll wait for the time. We'll wait for that time to come. I'm pretty confident overall with this drawing and what we've been talking about for months here. Yeah, it sucks that it's been so dragged out and so slow. I'll show one thing that I retweeted on Twitter. TA analysts. I like following this guy. He's extremely bullish, so maybe take it with a grain of salt, but I'm with it. And he's got all kinds of patterns and charts, and he uses all kinds of indicators, and he's got his robot, his trading robot, that he's posting about all the time or whatever. But there are lots of indications that definitely show we are nearer the bottom than the top, much nearer the bottom than the top, and that there should be one more, I believe still there will be one more melt up, one more crazy run, leave a lot of people behind. And the people that aren't in the market, everyone's wanting to sell their altcoins and get out everything. One more melt up and then the real bear market. Still my thesis, still my thought process. Anyways, guys, I'm not going to drag this video on much longer. Yeah, you can see every time you're around this purple line. This is on the 3-week 3-week median lower line, pretty zoomed out, close to the monthly, and you get around that line and you get another run. So we'll wait and see. Will that happen? We'll see. Anyways, guys, I don't want this video to be too long. Smash up the like button, leave a comment below. Thank you for watching. Down here in Texas, let me know if you're in Texas in the comment section, and we'll catch you in the next video. See ya.